At a depth of 40 feet, £2 million sterling are buried. It is believed that this intriguing inscription was found in one of the mines on Oak Island, Canada. Needless to say, after this, a real gold rush began in this remote corner of the planet. Everyone who heard about it rushed to try their luck and find the coveted treasure. From teenagers with homemade shovels to wealthy adventurers with serious construction equipment. What clues did they come across? And did anyone become the lucky owner of millions? Oak looks like hundreds of other small islands off the coast of Canada. However, this piece of land is shrouded in legends of untold treasures. It all started 2 centuries ago. In 1795, a teenager told his parents that he had seen strange lights from the window at night. The next day, he went to the spot with friends. The boys found an entrance to an underground chamber that resembled a mine. But they couldn't go deep. Their path was blocked by a wall of thick oak beams. Behind it, an opening led downward, far into the depths. The teenagers didn't dare to continue. The friends returned to the search 8 years later. By this time, the plot of land had been bought by Joe Sellers, a retired British Navy captain. After listening to the young men, the former sailor became enthusiastic about exploring the mysterious mine. In one of the underground chambers, the group found a stone with strange symbols. Later, it disappeared, but by then, the enigmatic inscriptions had been deciphered. Of course, we don't know for sure if this stone really existed or if it's just another myth. Allegedly, it disappeared in 1919, but supposedly it bore the inscription, "At a depth of 12 metres under this stone, £2 million sterling are buried." This further fueled the interest of treasure hunters. However, the treasure seekers were unlucky. The mine was constantly flooded with water, and working in such conditions was very difficult. Joe Sellers and his companions armed themselves with the most modern equipment of the time. At a depth of about 30 metres, a steel probe supposedly hit a chest, but they couldn't pull it to the surface. They couldn't figure out where all the water was coming from. After painstaking research, it turned out that the money mine was connected to the sea by at least 2 tunnels. Through them, water constantly flowed into the lower levels. The team had to figure out how to seal these tunnels. It took several years. According to Joe Sellers' diary, on August 23, 1813, a certain oak barrel was extracted to the surface. At this intriguing moment, the story of the treasure hunters company abruptly ends. The money mine was forgotten for 35 years until 2 friends arrived on the island eager to try their luck. They found Joe Sellers' diary. They decided that no one would build a mine for just 1 barrel, so the treasure must still be there, and they needed to dig deeper. The friends organised an entire syndicate. It was headed by a certain William Sellers, a namesake of the retired captain. Work in the mine resumed with renewed vigour. For almost 20 years they dug and excavated, but they couldn't block the tunnels or pump out the water. Soon, newspapers began writing about the search on Oak Island. Sellers and his companions claimed that under another oak beam barrier, they found chests filled with something heavy. Water prevented them from pulling them out again. To drain the water from the mine, it was decided to drill a second well, but unfortunately, it was also filled with water, and the dam that was later built was washed away by the tide. There was also an attempt to drill additional wells, but all this led to the mine turning into a huge mud pit, and whatever was there collapsed to a depth of about 50 metres. This was a failure in every sense. In 1865, the syndicate's founders unexpectedly halted all work and hastily left the island at night. In the morning, William Sellers' body was found in the money mine. After this, the underground chamber was called Cursed. The third wave of searches unfolded at the beginning of the 20th century. A certain engineer named Dunfield brought heavy equipment to the island, earning him the derisive nickname Bulldozer among treasure hunters. Dunfield found nothing and only damaged the mine. Later, a certain Daniel Blankenship took up the task, realising that a different approach was needed. There was no point in digging in the mine itself. He came up with something else. In 1971, Daniel Blankenship lowered an underwater video camera. Allegedly, the footage captured a severed hand and blurred outlines of chests. However, the recording was of very poor quality. It was impossible to determine exactly what was on the video. A severed hand was visible in the camera. The question is, how could it have been preserved for so long? That is, essentially, nothing should have remained of it long ago. Daniel Blankenship left the island empty-handed, having spent over $500,000 on the expedition. To this day, there is no answer to who, when and why built this deep mine. There was a theory that the unusual tunnel system was created by nature itself. However, scientists refute this theory. It's clear that this is a man-made structure because the supports, which are clearly made by humans, and the objects found there, pickaxes, shovels, coins, even a fragment of a gold chain, all indicate that people were there. According to one of the many versions, the mine was built by pirates, according to another, by French royalists. Allegedly, they hid the jewels of Queen Marie Antoinette there. Rumours that chests of golden ornaments were taken out of rebellious Paris in 1790 appeared during the Great French Revolution. The legend of the curse of Oak Island says that 7 people will die hunting for the treasure before it is found. 6 have already perished in the search for riches, but the danger only fuels the interest of treasure hunters.